Florida has decided to just completely dispense with sex ed. I know it seems crazy, but that is the path that they're on. They had just reversed a decision to adopt a new sex education textbook that would have been used for the 22 to 23 school year. It leaves the district with no sexual education curriculum for at least 4 to 8 months, okay? That means that students in this year will not receive the specific unit of study, which is required by the state technically, but they're not gonna do it anyway. Classes that include the unit or lesson plans will have to skip discussions entirely until the board adopts a curriculum. Now, what do you lose when you don't have sex ed for 4 to 8 months? Well, textbooks cover pregnancy prevention, understanding sexuality and sexually transmitted infections, drugs and alcohol, and relationships. In April, the board approved middle school and high school versions of the comprehensive health skills textbook. The decision was met with petitions from opponents, prompting a hearing in June to assess the petitions. Now, if you sort of recall, all of this is over, oh no, they're acknowledging that straight and cis people aren't the only people. And so for that, they decided that, and CRT, they decided to reject tons of textbooks that were perfectly fine. In fact, probably conservative in the way they approached much of this stuff. Finally, they did find some books they found acceptable, but even that has now been overturned, Francesca. So Florida schools have reached, I think, the inevitable stopping point of we're just not having books and lessons anymore.
I mean, I have to wonder how good their sex ed was beforehand, because I mean, granted, it was years and years ago, but like sex ed in public schools in California were not good when I was going to school. They were like, there was like 2 classes 10 years apart, and you were like, wait a minute, what? Girls have these parts and boys have chlamydia. What the hell? You know, it was like anyway, the point is we could all get some better sex ed, but it's okay, John, because like kids will just go, they have, Professor Google. Just go online and type in sex. And Bing, you'll get everything, not actually Bing, because it's Google, of course. Bing will actually give you the definition and like, you'll learn something from Bing, damn it. I'm sorry.
I'm an Ask Jeeves man myself. But
this is where kids are learning. Yeah. Go on the internet and learn about sex. That'll work out great. And you'll learn, and everything you see is real, and it's exactly how it happens.
How to sex. Just type it in and you learn everything.
How to sex.
No, but like you're somewhat joking, but you're totally right. Now, think about what conservatives say they want, what their goals in the areas of sex and relationships and all that are. And now look at the effect of what they have done. Studies have demonstrated that comprehensive sexuality education programs reduce the rates of sexual activity. We know they don't want people boning. Sexual risk behaviors, the number of partners in unprotected intercourse, they supposedly are against all those things. Sexually transmitted infections, which they don't talk much about, but they use it to demonize sex in general. So you'd think they'd want it low. And adolescent pregnancy. So with what conservatives have done, what do you get? Well, supposedly you get more sex with more partners, including anonymous partners, less safe sex, more STIs, and more pregnancies.
Yep.
It seems counterproductive based on the goals they've set out. So why not? It's Florida.
The big crabs industry has definitely put its money into the GOP and they're getting what they paid for. No, it's disgusting. And this is actually why same-sex couples and same-sex sex terrifies the right, because it is sex for pleasure. It is sex because you were in love or you are attracted or you like that person. It has nothing to do with procreation. And they hate that. And this is their goal, is to completely take away sex for pleasure. It doesn't exist. When you have sex, you have a baby and you get a whole lot of herpes, bro. And that's what it is. And hopefully you're 15. Yay, welcome to life. Like this is their dream.
Welcome.
And final point. After Roe, you saw there was an increase of abortion, right? That people received abortions finally. But steadily, there has been a decrease in abortion. The same thing. You think that when you actually have comprehensive health care, sex ed, people actually have less sex if that is your goal. And it's true.
Makes sense.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.